not all money is good money. If it's going to cost you
Great.
your joy or your peace,
Yep.
it is not worth it at all because you're going to be pretty much married to that person for the next several months, even a year. And so you got to really make sure that relationship is going to fit because there are some that, yes, would cost you your joy and peace, and that's not worth it. No sale. Ever is.
That's most of the ladies that I've talked with. I think everything that we've mentioned on this, as far as like when I bring it up, because I know that women, we kind of do business a little bit differently. We're having a conversation about real estate, and those conversations lead to business. Here we are. I am Dr. Cynthia Tant with Sip, Sell, Repeat in Real Estate, and I have the distinct privilege to talk with Andrea Andrews today from Compass Rose Realty out of Arkansas. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Andrea, and then we're going to kind of ask some questions. We're going to see what's going on in the real estate market where she's at. But she's the principal broker of the Compass Rose Realty based in is it Jonesboro? Jonesboro.
Yes.
Yeah, Jonesboro, Arkansas. And under her leadership, she's earned multiple honors, including triple diamond producer in 2020 to 2022, double diamond producer. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a lot of years here. Best of the NEA Brokerage for 5 consecutive years. She's a certified real estate broker manager, holds numerous professional designations. We'll let you explain a little bit about that and what's going on. And a Dave Ramsey endorsed local provider. Okay. So I've never had anybody on yet that can talk to us about a little bit about Dave Ramsey. And so tell us all a little bit more. Tell the ladies out here a little bit more about you and how you got started in this crazy real estate business.
Oh, I always wanted to do real estate, like ever since I was little. And then as I was getting older, Dad had me meet with some realtors in our area and kind of just said, why don't you just go to college first and do that and then see about real estate. And then when I did meet with the realtors, they were telling me, it's hard. It's feast or
Yes.
famine and you dog eat dog. And, it's just kind of scared me away from it for a while. And Dad was just saying, focus on getting your degree and then we'll see, once you're older and more mature, maybe that'll be good. And so I went and to college and I got my degree in communications with an emphasis in advertising, which was
Great.
later helped me so much. Yes. And so when I graduated, I either wanted to like move to New York or Dallas. And I have family in both areas because I wanted to take that, degree in advertising and work at like Tiffany's or, somewhere really big. I didn't do that. I tried. I didn't do Dallas. I moved to Dallas and there they were short on teachers. So like any degree that you have, you just had to have like a 2-week program and you could be a teacher.
What year was that where you were in Dallas?
2006 until 2013.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I got my PhD up at Texas Women's University, my previous career before real estate. So I know the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where my kids were born, everything. But that's why I wanted to like switch gears and go into teaching because I knew I was ready to start having kids. I wanted to be off for like the summers and holidays and at 3:00. And so since all you had to do is have any degree, you just had to go through like a 2-week program. And so then I just got into teaching, like took that summer and then that August started teaching. And I taught at a charter school in Dallas for A+ Academy for about a year. And then that was terrible. The commute was like 90 minutes if there wasn't a wreck and there was a wreck.
Yeah, on the interstate. Yeah.
Yes. And then that summer, that was right before Noah, my son, was born. I started knocking on all the doors around like the schools around my house, like on a 1 mile, 2 mile radius. And I got a job, thank goodness. And so there I was for 4 years, just being a teacher. I was like a mile from my house. Their nanny was like a mile from the school. And so everything was just like in a circle for me. And then we decided to move back to Jonesboro. That's where I'm originally from because I wanted the kids to be raised around their grandparents and aunts and uncles and everything. And so we moved back to Jonesboro in 2013. And then also I had like a big pay cut coming from Dallas to Jonesboro of being a teacher. Because see, if you taught for 3 years, then you could just come to Arkansas and teach, like you had your normal teaching degree. It was a big pay cut. And then I was going to get a divorce. I thought, well, I need to do something to supplement my income, right? Because I took a big hit. You could get your national board certification and through the school and the state, that would kind of make up the difference of my salary, what it had been. because I could like pay for my house, pay for my car and food for me and the kids. And that's it. No savings, no dance classes, nothing, So I was like, I have to do something. So I thought, well, national boards or real estate, I
Real
could just,
estate.
yeah, maybe I
Yeah.
could just sell a house a month and that will really supplement my income, So I went and I took my real estate course. I remember I paid for it, which I didn't have the money to do that. I put it on a credit card. I printed it out. I put it on my refrigerator and I looked at it just like every day, and I was going to take the course in person because I wanted to sit in the front row and be like front and center and learn every little bit about it that I could. And I did, went through the class. And then like after that, I had a great mentor. So that was
Yeah.
one thing I have to share is Pam.
Yes.
I, I picked out a lot and built a house and she also is encouraging me to like, don't do national boards, do real estate. You've always wanted to. So Pam, I have to give her kudos, Pam Martin. She is my mentor and my cheerleader and gave me a lot of support. So I just naturally joined the brokerage that, she was at and started there. And, whenever I finished taking I passed my test on the first go round. So like I'd probably by the skin of my teeth, I think. They don't tell you what you make if you pass it.
Right. If you pass it. Yeah.
Yes. And so I remember going to my brokerage and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a realtor now. And they just got, good luck, kiddo, So I was like, okay, well now what do I do? I really just didn't know what to do. And so I had to sit down and figure that out, write my bio and like, why would I use me as a realtor? I don't know why I would use a realtor now. I know, but I did not.
After those years, yeah, in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
really also as we're thinking about this, what would be the tips that you would start to or that you would give to that beginning realtor who doesn't know what's going on and trying to get started? So getting the mentor, I heard you say, but what
It's
else would
huge.
yeah.
So that's the big thing. And then I called those first 2 years in real estate my research and development phase because I didn't know. And so like the podcasts and the books I was reading, they said, the first thing you got to do is get a good mentor, someone that's going to be
Right.
willing to let you ride their coattails and learn the business and everything. So I had that. But I cut out all TV, like anything that was a time waster.
Sure.
I did not do it. So I would be folding laundry and listening to podcasts. I would be going to bed and listening to, just videos on real estate. If it wasn't about real estate, I wasn't doing it. I read book after book after book. We have something in our outlets called like readers or leaders, so I read everything. Any seasoned agent, no matter which brokerage they were with, when I would get them on the phone, I'd ask the same question. What would you tell yourself as a new agent? What would you want to know? How can I be successful? And they were also willing to be helpful and share their knowledge. I remember one of them told me the secret to those that make it, to those that don't, in real estate is longevity. And that's so true too. And so I would just say,
It's you wouldn't say it's a get quick rich scheme, would you?
no, I didn't make a dime for like 9 months. I didn't make anything.
Yeah.
Really, every day I would get out of work at school and I would go to the office and I would research like how to get leads, how to do all these things. And I did them. I did everything except for the one thing that scared me. So
What?
the thing that I did not, and I'll tell you how it all came
Okay.
about. So I would send emails to like Bizbos on Zillow. I would send
Okay.
out the expired postcards. I went door knocking. So like every other weekend, the kids went to
Really?
their dads. I would
Sweet.
door knock. I would put my little door hanger, and I
Yeah.
had some agents call me about that, but no real buyers. If it's getting some traction doing those things, but not what I was looking for. So I went to my broker at the time and I said, hey, like I want to be on front page news. Like here's the top agents in our area. Like I want to be there. How do I do that? And she's like, well, I think like I made a cookbook for my church and I did get some leads off that. And I was like, that's not going to get me. That's not going to get me here where I want to be. So then I was out of school for the summer. It was like my first day out of school for the summer. I was at the office. I said, I've got to be accountable. I've got to be there 8 to 5. We're out in the field, So I sat down and I was like, okay, what do I need to do? And the one thing on those lists that kept showing up that I did not do was cold call because that was
Cold
too
call.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to do it. And so I picked up the phone. I was, Craigslist was a good viable source at
Yeah,
that
back
time.
then. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, there was one in Bono, which is like a little rural area, like outside of Jonesboro, but it was really hot at that time. This lady had a house on there for like $40,000, and I knew she could get 80. So I picked up the phone and I was like, of course, I called her, my hands were shaking. My voice was my first cold call ever. And she picked up the phone. She's like, "Oh, you sound like you got a lot of energy." She's like, I told her, I said, "I think I can get you 80,000 for this house. I really do. I think you're underpriced. It's so cute. You remodeled it. I could really get you 80,000 for it. If you think that, you come to my house right now." And I did. I just grabbed my sign and then I went to her house and she said, "If you think you can sell this for 80, I've got 2 other properties I need you to sell too." And I did.
Sweet.
I sold all 3. That summer, well, I cracked the code then. So that summer, I would go to the office and I'd say, "I will not leave here today until I get a listing." And I would. I don't care if it took me 100 phone calls. I would say, "I'm not leaving." And then the other people at the office, started joining in with me. And so we would just say, we called it the bullpen. It was a wide open space. And we
Yep.
just call. Did you know what this person just said? Or, we kind of coach people through calls and how to be better at it and everything. That the more we did it, the more experience we had. Like, I
Right.
sold that lady's house for 80,000. And then the next Isabel I called us. So, the last floor sold by owner, I got him double what
Right.
they were asking. It just build off of that. And so that was the one thing. Once it did started doing that, that was a real big key to success over the next several years.
Well, and so during this time period, obviously you're cold calling. So you don't know, you're not using a referral database. You're not doing people that you know or anything like that. So what's the strangest thing that you ever came across when you went to go look at a listing and you looked at the house? You go, what the heck am I going to do with this? Can you think of something that's just stands out?
Oh, like at a listing appointment?
Yeah. Yeah.
Going? Oh, yeah, so many times, where the worst one was like, we give like a photo shoot checklist, have it ready, and
Right.
we had like 2 weeks. And at this time, now we have an in-house professional photographer, drone
Right.
pilot. At that time, we had to like hire them out and, come.
Right.
And it was an hour away too. And I'd given them the checklist and it's 2 weeks out. When we got there, there was like, the stuff everywhere, cigarettes, cereal box house,
Yeah.
everything you could name it. And it was like, well, if this is how you want your house shot, you've had 2 weeks to prepare, and like it's just not going to sell this way. So that was sad. Now, we do have an in-house professional photographer and drone pilot. Does 2 shoots a
Right.
day. I give the checklist if I know that it's going to be a seller that's not going to be able or even willing to get it into shape. Then I'm just gonna. I have a housekeeper too that I'll say, "I'm gonna send over my housekeeper. We're gonna get this whipped up and into shape." So you learn a lot of things over the years.
Well, and I think too is when we talk about, and this is the other question I want to ask you, one of the questions I want to ask you is, what would you wish that every client understood about us when we're going to that listing appointment? So
Ah,
what is it that you would think that they got to know about us before we even get there?
that we're professionals. We do
Yeah.
this every day. We experience this every day. We've seen all the hiccups that can come about, and then we also know our data. And data doesn't lie. If I show you in your neighborhood homes that have sold in the past 6 months that are the same layout and size and everything, is yours is not worth 100,000 more than all theirs. It's just not. So my biggest hurdle I have when it comes to listing appointments, which most are very reasonable. Most of my clients say, I come very
Right.
well prepared. We have like a super seller set of
Everything.
5
Yep.
sets of data. Yes. And so, but some of them, you show them the data, you look at the comps, and they just are unreasonable in their expectations of what their house would sell for. And that's the thing that I wish that the sellers knew is like, we're not lying. We don't make money unless you make money. And we're not going to make money not selling the house because it's overpriced. That's the biggest hiccup I see with this.
Well, and I think too, what I've found is when I get in the room and I let them know, I say, especially if it's not a referral, if it's somebody that was cold call or somebody that, just came off of an internet lead or something, and I'm going in there and I don't really know them, I'm going to say, yes, I know that you're interviewing me to be your realtor, but I'm interviewing you to be my client. So let's see if we can match. I've
Right.
turned people down and people go, what? I said, no, there's times that I can't. Values maybe is a big thing, but it's like the other thing is like, I am not going to have I'm going to have a problem with this person and with this house. And I'm sure you've experienced that too.
Oh, yeah. I tell my agents all the time, not all money is good money. If it's going to cost you
Great.
your joy or your peace,
Yeah.
it is not worth it at all because you're going to be pretty much married to that person for the next several months, even a year. And so you got to really make sure that relationship's going to fit because there are some that, yes, would cost you your joy and peace, and that's not worth it. No sale. Ever is.
I mean, most of the ladies that I've talked with, I think everything that we've mentioned on this, as far as like when I bring it up, because I know that women, we kind of do business a little bit differently, and we have, that's why the sip, sell, repeat is for whether we're sipping coffee or wine, we're having a conversation about real estate, and those conversations lead to business. And so maybe we're not on the golf course, but we are doing things. And some of us are on the golf course, but maybe we're not out there doing business, but we are in our own way conversing. So when you're with your, like you said, and it just not to kick the guys out, but let's just talk about the gals right now. As far as the gals, and how are you relating to them as to, or do you have any differences between the sexes in your company? Because I talk to a lot of women who just have a lot of women in their companies. Or
Actually, we just did like a ratio.
oh wow,
And really, we had a lot of male agents, but more female agents. But in our brokerage, everybody just helps out, and it's like, it's not really different, the males or the females in our brokerage.
right.
Everybody's just really helpful and great, and we all kind of work as a team to best serve our clients.
Well, and that's good. Yeah, I know we do different business a little bit differently and different situations, and that's good to hear, because I know from a brokerage standpoint, it appears more men are in the business aspect of it and owning the brokerage. That my experience has been versus the women owning the brokerages. But what would you like to know, or what do you think? Here's a good question. What do you think buyers or sellers, you can pick up either one of them, get wrong about us as realtors? What is it that you think that they perceive about us as realtors?
Oh, well, that it's just easy,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
anybody could do it, and that they don't see all of the hurdles that come along with it through negotiations and inspections and appraisals and title issues and all the things that you don't know until you really get into it, the legalities of everything. And I had one particular deal that was under contract for like 6 months. It was tied up in a reverse mortgage. We had to go
Oh,
all the way to the Federal Trade Commission. Each of my
oh my
files,
gosh.
I'm usually running like 10 files under contract at a time. And I'm just going through the list every day, talking to termite, talking to the inspector, talking to the title company, talking to their lender, getting them pre-qualified. So there's just so much. They see us like selling the houses and the nice banquets and all the fun, glamorous stuff of real estate. But every day, I work from about 7 a.m. till midnight every day, just to make sure my clients are taken care of and the deals are going through and working, and I
So
feel like a firefighter. All
oh, there you go. Exactly. And that's what we do. So what has been, and no names or anything like that, but in
Yeah.
your experience or in your history, can you share with us? I like telling stories. My agents say, Cindy, you have so many stories for everything. I said, but I've been in this business a long time. I can tell you a story about just about everything.
Yes.
So what can you think of a story of a buyer, let's look at a buyer that you're working with, and it is just not going in the right direction, that you're just coming up with, I cannot continue to work with this buyer. There's too many issues. Some of the issues that might have come up, they say, I think we need to stop this at this point in time. Have you ever had anybody like that?
No, no. I've been fortunate and I've had wonderful, amazing buyers. And now sometimes there's buyers like in our area they're like, I just want rural. I want a couple acres, really doesn't matter where. And so then you kind of are like drawn in all these different directions. But luckily, we have 55 agents ish in our brokerage.
Okay.
We're kind of spread out. So if that starts happening, then in our brokerage, we just refer out like, okay, hey, this agent's going to be able to better serve you because they're more in this direction. So that's the thing that I come across sometimes, is that like being pulled in too many directions, with the buyer.
With whoever you're with. Yeah, from
Mhm.
that standpoint. Well, let
Yeah.
me ask you another question then. What's the fastest, maybe the most creative way that you have secured a listing and then the buyer came along right away? How has that ever happened for you, for like something quick?
Oh gosh. Well, during COVID, I called that the bulletin
Oh,
market. Pretty much everything that I listed got 10 offers immediately,
yeah.
over list, cash, no contingencies, no anything. Just let's go. It was incredible market. And I called it was the perfect storm because it was good for buyers and sellers at that time, because interest rates were low, inventory was low. So it was good for buyers that they could get in something, so reasonable, for their price. And then for the sellers, they're making just tons of money, even if they hadn't been there for very long. I sold
Right now,
right now.
right now, what are you finding that your sellers are experiencing?
I tell them that it's kind of went back to the market it was
Right.
before COVID. And so they say, well, how long is this house going to take to sell? And we say, well, your average days on market are this, but it always works like this. Either it's going to hit the market and somebody's going to say, that's what I was waiting for. That's the one they're waiting for. Or maybe even a couple buyers. That was exactly what they were waiting on to hit market. You're going to have several offers right away, or maybe that one offer right away. And if that doesn't happen within the first couple days, then we have to nurture it. We have to, advertise it, keep it top of mind, do open houses, do live video tours. We got to nurture it, maybe do a price drop after a couple weeks. So it's either going to be one or the other. It's going to hit right away. You're going to have an offer or multiple offers, or we're going to have to nurture it. So that's just how it is.
Well, and probably because you're bigger company, bigger brokerages, or good sized brokerage, you probably have systems in place.
Yes, all the systems.
Yes.
And that's why being a teacher has helped me so much
Yeah.
in real estate, because I had to have lesson plans and newsletters
Right.
and systems and be organized. And that's helped me just so much in being in real estate. And yes, I remember when we first started and told you we opened in November 2019, when we hired an office manager, and it was just like me and a couple other agents in here at that time. And, we tried a lot of things, and a lot of things just failed. And so I told Abraham, who's been our office manager since like day one, I said, just bear with me, because I said, when I first started in real estate, it took me a while to become a good agent. And I said, and it's going to take me a while to become a good broker too. So we're going to just figure it out. We're going to try some things. Some things will, not work. And we'll cut that out and see how we can improve. And some things are going to be amazing. And over the years, we've come up with so many great systems. I'll show you. We have this is called our atlas, and it's like over 300 pages, and it's volume 6. So in January, I'll be writing volume 7, but it's everything, all our systems, all our practices, how to handle open houses, buyers, sellers, how to fill out a contract, acronyms, dictionary, everything that you could ever think of in our atlas is what we call it.
And I think in today's world, from real estate perspective, those systems and processes have to be in place.
Yes.
It's not the good old West where you're just shooting. Now, some people still have a good database and can do that, but not in today's world.
Yeah, I
So
remember. Okay.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, because what is that? Is there a favorite app that you suggest that's not in that, or that maybe is in the Compass, but that you're using? Is there a database that you have your own? How does that work?
So in here in the atlas, we have a page called Apps We Love. And so every year we update that, like apps that we use. And the two apps I think I use the most as far as for systems are Forewarn, which that checks the background of anybody that we're going to meet. It tells us if they have any liens or judgments and criminal records. And then, so we use that constantly before we meet with clients. And then also a Land Glide. And so that it checks like a parcel numbers, if it's in a flood zone, what the deeded acreage is, who's the neighbor, what's their name, and then we can find their name, looking them up in county records, and then get their number and call them. So there's a million ways that you can use Land Glide. I love it.
And there's so much out there for realtors. It's like we're bombarded every week with, oh, let's do this and let's do that and let's do that. It's like, oh my God, please. Let me ask you a question. So the ladies that are listening here, how can they get a hold of you? I've been sharing referrals with people, which are doing great with other around the country, especially from an investment standpoint. But how can we get a hold of you? What's the best way?
Call, email, and I'll give you my phone number. You want me to say it?
Go right ahead.
Okay, it's 870-761-7774. You can call, text me, email me, find me on Facebook, any of the socials. We're on there. So, or
are your socials to your name exactly? Are they? How are they?
Like Compass Rose Realty, and then Andrea Andrews. And we have great SEO. So we have several websites. So, if you just type in the name of our company, my name, you can find us anywhere. Because that degree in advertising also really helped me.
That does pay off.
Yes.
And so from the social media perspective, since you have your social media going on, what have you found to be? Have you found anything to be a lead generator versus the other things that we do? Have you found anything in the social media world that's helped you?
Well, Yes, I've been, like I said, I started out using Craigslist as one thing, but now we don't use that. So over time, I found like the ones that that work and get leads, and the ones that do not. Like Facebook is good, TikTok is good, Instagram, LinkedIn is wonderful. I have had so many contacts from LinkedIn also, and then my Google business page would probably be the
Right.
heaviest hitter. And so
Yeah.
I get several calls for referrals, or just clients call me directly for my Google business profile. And I keep it active. Every day I'm posting a new post, new listing, sold, under contract, open house, spring cleaning tips. Every day I'm posting an ad every day for 10 years.
And so that's consistency.
Yes. Every
So
Sunday, 2 open houses with live video. Every Sunday, 2 open houses for 10 years. Unless I'm on vacation, or it's Christmas. Typically, that's where you'll find me doing 2 open houses every Sunday.
So as the new agent coming on board is listening to you and wants to make this a career, which we understand entrepreneurship is a
Yes,
part
it
of
is.
this career. And sometimes they don't understand that that's what it is. What are the first steps? 3 steps that you would say, okay, let's just get this down and we're going to be good to go.
They've already passed their test and they're ready
Yeah,
to
they
go?
passed their test. They're ready to go. They're coming to
Okay.
you.
Yeah, so what we do is we put them with a mentor and an EB, and then there's, me as their PB, right? So and they get
Mhm.
their atlas. So there's one thing. You read your atlas, read your policy manual, ask questions about it. Next, get with your mentor. They're going to do your first 5 deals with you. They split it
Oh,
50-50,
okay.
because we found out that even people that are just right out of school, even though they have their EB and their PB me, they're out there in the field, they don't know how intricate and complex everything is. They don't know to check for the other parcel that might be attached to,
Right.
main house, or just anything that can go wrong and land you in a whole lot of trouble just as you're getting started. So we have a mentor that walks them through their first 5 transactions. So that's huge. They oversee everything and kind of do it with them. And so Atlas, mentor, and then just be a self-starter. If you're going to be your own boss, you better be a good one. Get up every day, treat it like, the job that it is, and either be at the office or be out in the field getting business. And don't be scared. You got to, you are an entrepreneur. You get out of real estate what you put into it, So if you're just sitting around waiting for the phone to ring, that's not going to happen. You
Yeah.
have to pick up the phone and start calling, and get outside your comfort zone, because that is where the magic happens.
What's 1 or 2 books? I'm a reader, and like I was
Yes.
a teacher too. I was a teacher first before I became into real estate. So what are 1 or 2 books that you found that have been very helpful for your success?
I'm going to say in our atlas, we have a page that's called like Readers or Leaders. And
Okay.
it has every book we've ever read in the brokerage. And the brokerage has been open since 2019. So every book, or every month, we read a book, and we'll have the agents write an essay on it. And then we'll pick one of the essays, and they'll get an extra 5% on their next commission check, no matter how big or small. So it could be a $40,000 deal or a $4 million deal. So that's,
Wow. That's
we want to
awesome.
encourage, yes, we want to
Yeah.
encourage reading, not for that money, but from the information in those books
Learning.
that they can better
Yeah.
use to serve their clients. So when I got started, I was asking the agents, what do you recommend? What should I read? What can I get my hands on to make me better at this? And so one of my favorite books is The Compound Effect. That
Okay.
was okay, and that's
Yep.
Darren Hardy.
Yep.
Okay, and then I love The One Thing. So those 2 books, The
The
One
one
Thing,
thing.
uh-huh. That Okay, and so the compound effect, the main principle of that, and let me find the one thing. The compound effect, the main principle of that is small change over time, big results.
Correct. Yep.
So love that. And then let's see, the one thing,
Who wrote the one thing? I'm sure
Gary
I'll just
Keller.
go. Oh, Keller. Okay.
Okay,
Going.
and so that
I'm going blank. Yeah. Yeah.
and that is just so you're going to prioritize and focus on like the one thing that's going to get you the most results on that
Right.
item, right?
Right.
So like whenever I was first starting and I was doing door knocking and expired postcards and emails and just texting. But the one thing that was getting me the most results, cold calling. So you're going to spend more of your time doing that one thing that's going to get you the most results. And so that really helped. And it also taught me about like time blocking. So, I time block time. My kids, I was telling you
Oh,
about
yeah.
Noah. Remember, he was going to be born, and that's when I started door knocking at the schools. Um, well, okay. So anyway, Noah and Sophia, they're my kids. And when I just got started in real estate, they were like, 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 around that age. And so I wanted to time block my time. So like noon on Saturday till noon on Sunday, we were going to the zoo, we were going to the parks. I had a full 24 hours where it was us, I wasn't out showing or doing anything like that. So that book, the
Right.
one thing also taught me about time blocking and how to prioritize things, and how also to like put time in for yourself on your calendar. So like when the kids were little, pick them up from school, and like 5 to 7, that was time block, take the kids to gymnastics, go home and have supper, get ready for bed, so that book taught me a lot about time management.
Well,
Um,
I was just gonna say, in this profession, you have to manage your time
yes,
productively. It's not
yes,
going and sitting at the coffee shop and just not doing anything for 2 hours, but productively. And that's a really hard thing, I think, to get across to a lot of agents sometimes. The money's not going to just fall off trees to them. They're going to have to work hard on it.
yes,
So,
so hard.
yeah. Well, hey, I just want to thank you. I know we've spent about 35, 40 minutes now, and it's gone by very fast. I don't want to hold up your
Yes.
time, but I just want to thank you for coming and sharing your words of wisdom with the ladies that'll be hearing this. And then say again how we can get in touch with you. Just make sure that we get you all caught up here.
Yeah, so my name's Andrea Andrews with Compass Rose Realty, and you can find me online. You can call my cell phone at 870-761-7774.
All right. This is Dr. Cynthia Tant. We're closing off from what am I at? Sip, Sell, Repeat. And real estate. I am in the Dominican right now, even though this is a fake screen behind me. I am here, but it's getting really dark. That's why the light looks really weird on me. But anyways, we welcome you to come and listen to Andrea and what we've had to share today. If you're inspired by these powerful women in real estate, you'll want to catch the next conversation. Click the video on screen to keep sipping, selling, and leveling up your game.